Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. So in this video, I will be showing everything that I've picked up for the month of October 2022. I'm sorry it's a little bit later than usual. I do try to get these videos out around the end of the month or at least the beginning of the month. Obviously, we're a few days late here, but for anyone who doesn't know, I've been away for the past couple of weeks, hence why this video is a bit later than usual. But I'm back now and yeah, I'll just show you everything that I've picked up for October 2022. So yeah, let's get into it. So first up, I've just got two titles from the Indicator sale to show you. Now, this sale happened a few weeks ago, and I did pick up quite a lot of titles from that sale, and I did upload a video showing what I've got. So if you do want to check that video out, I will leave a link in the description below. However, following the release of that video, I did end up ordering a couple more just as the sale was about to end. So the first one that I picked up was Bellman and True. So yeah, this is a late 80s British movie that stars Bernard Hill, and I think he plays like a computer expert and he gets bribed by these terrorists to rob a bank for them. And if he doesn't comply with them, they will, I think, murder his son because they've kidnapped him. But other than that, I don't really know too much about it. Not watched the movie yet, but I'm looking forward to checking it out. And then the other one that I picked up was The Valachi Papers. Now, I believe this is a gangster movie that was released in 1972, and I think it was released the same time as The Godfather, and I think it very quickly fell under The Godfather's shadow and then was just forgotten about for years. But I've heard this movie does have a bit of a cult following amongst like gangster movie fans. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. It stars Charles Bronson, and I'm not the biggest Charles Bronson fan, but I am kind of curious to see what he's like in a gangster movie because, you know, I think we normally know him for playing like police detectives and characters like that. So it'll be interesting to see what he's like in this movie. But yeah, that is The Valachi Papers. So following on from that sale, I did also pick up one more Indicator title. Now, this wasn't one that was in a sale, and from what I can tell, I think it is out of print, and I got it for a pretty good price at CEX, and it is The Odessa File. So yeah, this is a movie starring John Voight, and I think he plays like a secret agent who has to sort of go behind the Iron Curtain to take part in this mission. I don't really know much more other than that, but I do like my sort of Cold War spy thrillers, especially ones that were released in like the 60s and the 70s. They've got this great sort of vibe and this great feel about them that just can't be replicated today. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out The Odessa File. So next up, I've just got one DVD pickup to show you, and it's a movie called Arlington Road. So yeah, this is a movie that stars Tim Robbins and Joan Cusack, and they play this married couple who move into this very nice neighborhood, and their neighbor is played by Jeff Bridges. And they seem like the most normal couple at first. They're very nice, very friendly people, and Jeff Bridges' character, you know, he forms a friendship with them. But as the movie goes on, Jeff Bridges' character starts to suspect that they might not be who they seem, and they might in fact be political terrorists, and that they're plotting their next scheme. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Great sort of thriller. It wasn't like anything special, but it does have a pretty good ending. I was quite blown away by the ending of this movie. Quite dark, but still very impressed with it. But yeah, that is Arlington Road. Next up, I picked up a Blu-ray from the HMV sale, and it's a movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So yeah, this is a movie that stars Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. Robert Downey Jr. plays like this petty thief who's posing as an actor in Hollywood, but he very quickly gets wrapped up in this murder investigation that's going on. This was a pretty fun movie, very snappy with its dialogue, with its editing. Great sort of performance from Robert Downey Jr. I think it was kind of considered a comeback movie for him. I think he made it just before Iron Man, but it was still somewhat of a comeback for him. And it's also directed by Shane Black, who probably best known for being one of the most famous screenwriters of the 1990s. I think he was like the highest paid screenwriter at one point, but he wrote, you know, the Lethal Weapon movies, The Last Boy Scout, Long Kiss Goodnight, and then obviously since then he's gone to direct Iron Man 3 and The Predator and movies like that. But yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was a pretty fun time. Next up, I picked up another movie from the HMV sale, and that is The Meg. So yeah, I was a bit let down by this movie. I wasn't expecting great things from it, but at the very least, I just wanted cheesy B-movie thrills, and I just didn't really get that with this movie. On the whole, I found it quite boring. Didn't have much suspense or excitement. I just found it a bit of a slog to get through, if I'm honest. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed, but yeah, that is the Meg. Next up, we have It Chapter 2. So yeah, if you've seen my previous pickup videos, you'll know that I did pick up Chapter 1 a couple of months ago. Now, I saw Chapter 1 in the cinema when it came out, and I was really disappointed with it. I was a big fan of the book, Stephen King, and even the original miniseries, and I just remember being really let down by Chapter 1 when I saw it in the cinema. So because of my disappointment, I never got round to watching Chapter 2, but I decided that I would give both movies another go. Well, give the first one another go, and then finally get round to watching Chapter 2. So I rewatched Chapter 1, and I still don't love it, but I do like aspects of it. But I just don't like some of the decisions that they made in that movie. However, Chapter 2, I really can't say the same. I really didn't like this movie at all. Yeah, I just don't know what they were trying to accomplish with this movie. Is it a horror movie or is it a comedy? It feels more like a comedy to me, and I don't think I will ever be able to hear the song Angel of the Morning the same ever again. Anyone who's seen the movie will know exactly what I'm talking about, but yeah, I was very disappointed with Chapter 2, but Chapter 1 is decent, but I can't say the same for 2. Next up, we have a Eureka title that I picked up in CEX, and it's a movie called Lucky. So yeah, I've been wanting to see this movie for quite a while. I'm a big fan of Harry Dean Stanton, obviously pictured here. Great actor, great character actor, had a illustrious career in film. I think it spanned like 6 or maybe even 7 decades. And yeah, this was like a movie that came out just before he passed away, or maybe after he passed away. I can't quite remember. And yeah, I thought this was a pretty good movie. Not really much in terms of story. He just plays this character who lives in this small town in America, who just kind of goes about his everyday life as he is sort of at the end of his life. And it just kind of deals with some of the characters he meets throughout the movie and some of the situations he finds himself in. But yeah, it's a great sort of swan song to the actor, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it's also got a cameo from David Lynch in there, with David Lynch being his typical Lynch self. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. That is Lucky. Next up, we have a bootleg here. Now, this is a movie that I really want there to be a physical release. There's no Blu-ray, no 4K. All we've got is a DVD, and the DVD is so old that the quality is just terrible. And I know I'm not alone in wanting this movie to have a proper release. And it is, of course, The Abyss. So yeah, this is probably one of James Cameron's more forgotten movies, but one that I really like. And I'd say it's probably one of his best. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much about the movie. I love it. It's just a great underwater alien movie. Great performances from the cast. Great direction from Cameron. But yeah, we just really need a proper release from this. But this will do for now. It's not like great quality. It's not like HD or anything. It's basically just an upscaled DVD. But it is a lot better than watching it on DVD. So if you are interested in picking this up, you can get it from a store on Etsy. I forget the name of the store, but if you search this on the Etsy website, you should find it. But yeah, that is The Abyss. Next up, we have a pickup from the Arrow video sale, and just the one pickup for me from this sale. And it's a movie called The Mangler. So yeah, this is a movie that is directed by Tobe Hooper, based on a short story by Stephen King and starring Robert Englund. So already you've got 3 masters of horror in a movie. And I've been wanting to get this for a while, but I was waiting for it to go down in a sale because I wasn't sure it was going to be a good movie. But I have to say, I was quite impressed by it. It's not a great movie, but I did enjoy it for what it was. It's very cheesy, very silly, but still a lot of fun. Basically just about this laundry press machine that basically gets a life of its own and starts killing people. I can't really say much more than that. The idea sounds terrible, but it was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, that is The Mangler. Next up, we have a pickup from the Criterion sale, and it's a movie called Okja. Now, I've spoken about this movie previously. One of my earliest videos I did was a director ranking video, and for the director it was Bong Joon-ho. And Bong Joon-ho is probably best known for doing Parasite, Memories of Murder, and Snowpiercer. But I will stand by this. I think this is his best movie. I absolutely adore this movie, and last time I watched it, it was on Netflix, and it's always been a movie that I was hoping would get a physical release, and now we have it. And yeah, I don't want to say too much about the movie. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's basically just about this young girl who forms a bond with this creature called Okja. He's kind of like a half pig, half elephant type creature. But it's just a fantastic movie. It takes you through a whole range of emotions. It's happy, it's sad, it's funny, it's serious. There's just so much going on in this movie, and it's just a blast from start to finish. Yeah, I absolutely love this movie, and that is Okja. Next up, I picked up a couple of titles from the 101 Black Label sale from HMV, and the first one I have is a movie called The Last Broadcast. So yeah, this is a found footage horror movie that was released in the late 90s, around about the same time as the Blair Witch Project, and it's about this group of filmmakers who go into the woods to basically research and do a documentary on the Jersey Devil, but one of the filmmakers dies under unexplained circumstances, and the movie goes through like a series of interviews with people involved to try and figure out what has happened to this person. I was a little bit let down with this movie. I know it has something of a cult following amongst horror fans. I know a lot of people who say it's a much more superior movie to the Blair Witch Project, but I personally wasn't that impressed with it. And this movie has one of the worst endings I've ever seen in a movie. I don't really want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but my jaw literally hit the floor when this movie ended, and not for like a good reason. I was just in complete disbelief when this movie ended. Yeah, I can't really say much more than that, but yeah, that is The Last Broadcast. And then the other movie that I picked up from the 101 sale was Suburbia. So yeah, this is a movie that doesn't have much in terms of story. It's basically just about this group of punk rock kids, and it just follows them as they try to live their lives as best they can. It goes through things like, homelessness and neglect and drug use, all the kind of stuff that affects all these kids. And that's basically it. It doesn't have much of a story, but I enjoyed it. There was some good performances in there, but then there was equally some really bad performances, but there's also a pretty good punk rock soundtrack to the movie. Has a very independent feel to it, but I thought it was a pretty decent watch. But yeah, that is Suburbia. And then following on from those 101 Black Label pickups, it got me thinking about the entire label, because I do have most of them on the label, but there are a few that I've kind of missed out on, and they're out of print and quite hard to find. But I'm always on the lookout for them, and I found one that was in a CEX very close to where I lived, and I decided to go down and check it out. And I thought for the price, it was in pretty good condition, so I decided to pick it up. And it's a movie called Phase 4. So yeah, I got this for a pretty good price. I think on eBay it goes for like £50-60, but I think I paid about £20 for this. There is some sticker residue, and you can see I've got a bit of a rip there from where I've tried to get the CEX stickers on. There's also a bit of residue there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I thought it was a price worth willing to pay just for the price of the box set itself. The movie itself is a very interesting one. It's basically about the ant population on Earth that is kind of mutated and is getting smarter, getting stronger, and it deals with these scientists in the desert who basically try to figure out what's going on and try to fight this mutation that's occurring. It's not like a classic sort of monster movie type of film. It's very trippy, very weird. So it might not be for everyone, but I thought it was a pretty interesting watch, and you get some pretty good special features on this release as well. You get, I think you get like the original intended ending to the movie that I don't think has ever been seen until it was made available on this release. But yeah, that is Phase 4. Next up, I picked up a couple of 4Ks from HMV. These were on sale. I think it was 2 for £20. And the first one I have is Braveheart. Now, yeah, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for this movie. I remember seeing it when I was very young, probably way too young to be watching a movie like this. But I just remember as a kid, this movie just it had an effect on me on an emotional level. The story and the characters, everything just really resonated with me. So ever since then, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for it. I know that the story does take a lot of liberties with the historical accuracy, but it is a movie at the end of the day, and movies are there to entertain first and educate second. I've always kind of felt that. But yeah, I do really like this movie. I've always had a huge soft spot for it. I think the battle scenes are great. I think the performances are great. The musical score by James Horner is fantastic. And yeah, the movie also looks great in 4K. But yeah, that is Braveheart. And the other 4K that I picked up from that sale was Ad Astra. Now, for me, this movie is probably one of the most underrated sci-fi movies from the last 10 years. I remember watching this and just being completely blown away by it. It basically stars Brad Pitt, who's this astronaut, and he decides to go on this mission into space to find his lost father, who also is an astronaut and went missing on a mission into space. And yeah, I just absolutely love this movie. It's visually one of the best sci-fi movies I've ever seen, and it's up there with the likes of 2001: A Space Odyssey and Solaris. And if you like movies like that, I would definitely recommend this one. And yeah, like I said, just one of the most underrated movies of the last 10 years or so. And really looking forward to checking it out on 4K, because I'm sure it's going to look great. But yeah, that is Ad Astra. And then the final pickup I have here is one that I have had on pre-order for quite a while now. It arrived through my door whilst I was on holiday, and it is, of course, Videodrome on 4K from Arrow Video. Yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I do already own the previous Arrow limited edition version, but I just had to get this one as well because I love the movie. It's one of my favourite David Cronenberg films, and yeah, I just had to see it in 4K. I also opted for the original artwork version, so this is the one that you can only get from the Arrow Video store. I think it's still available from what I can remember, but yeah, it's just a fantastic movie, and as usual, a great set from Arrow with the poster, the art cards, the reversible artwork, and all that good stuff. But yeah, really looking forward to checking it out. That is Videodrome. So there you go, guys. Those are my pickups for the month of October 2022. Let me know in the comments below what you think of any of these releases and what have you picked up yourself in October. Hope you've enjoyed the video, guys, and I will see you all again on the next one. So take care, guys.